Welcome to episode 4, Quattro, of... Kenny Vloggins. I hope you are here to have lots of fun because I am going to talk about a lesson, a lie, a tiny book haul, and an even tinier unboxing. And that will be all of episode 4 of Kenny Vloggins. Are you psyched? I am so psyched! This is what I'm currently reading right here. And that is Terry Pratchett's Guards. I'm taking my sweet time, but my gosh, you guys, January is nuts. February is even more nuts because Disco Dracula is taking up so much of my reading time with writing time. So, let us begin with the lesson. The lesson was learned by myself. You see, last episode of Kenny Vloggins, episode 3, I promised that I would do this particular episode all about Disco Dracula. That is not going to happen because these last few weeks have been insane. Last couple of weeks, really. We had a big freeze here in Austin, Texas. It was crazy as hell. There was branches falling all over the place. The power got knocked out in big chunks of Austin. It was nuts, right? So we had that, and then of course, like the next day, it was like temperate and nice because this is Texas and the weather is nutso. And we went and did my niece's birthday party. It was quite lovely. There was lots of roller skating. I didn't roller skate. If I roller skate, I will die. We also went down to like right next door. There's this really cool antique shop, and in that antique shop, I found like this really awesome old copy of Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. It was written in the original French. It had these really kick-ass pressings of the illustrations in the book. It was quite kick-ass, if you will. And then I also found some old, like, science fiction digest kind of booklets, and it had a bunch of really cool, like, weird tales. There's some Lovecraft in there and stuff like that. So that was a really long way to talk around the fact that I learned a lesson. Never promise what's going to be in the next episode because you never know what's going to go down. Now let's talk about the lie that I told myself. So a couple of months back, I did my last book haul, and it was right after Christmas, so that's probably one of the reasons why it was absolutely ginormous. But I told myself in that video, I was like, Self, you need to, like, chill out on buying books, man. It's part of the booktube effect, really. Like, I get all these really great recommendations, and if I see them in a half price, I'm like, yep, thank you. First, I go over to Tribe, and while I'm there, I get a lot of the books that are my ongoing reads. There was nothing new. Oh, but there was one thing new, actually, and that is this. It is The Lost Years from The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin was a really kick-ass comic book that I read last year. It was a series, and it was it was a story that was written originally by Laird and Eastman, who were the original writers of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it was really gritty and dark and wonderful, and it might have been the best comic book that I read last year. It was spectacular. But anyway, I think they're like it was really well received. So I think they're trying to profit off of that, which is great. It's what you do. But unfortunately, it's only got Kevin Eastman. Peter Laird is not in this one. It's Eastman and Waltz. And Waltz took part in the Last Ronin series as well. Eastman and Waltz have been doing the ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over at IDW. I went across the street after getting my comic books, and I went to Half Price Books, and I looked around. So last couple of videos back, I did a heavy metal book tag that was created by the channel was called Lyrical, and she's from the Netherlands. She's really awesome. Her book tags are really, really cool. There's another one that I'm thinking about doing here pretty soon about Eevees from Pokemon. Anyway, she's wonderful. You should check her out. I'll leave her information down below. I did her book tag, and when I was doing it, I was talking about old books that I read when I was like 15, and I remember even kind of pining about what I think about it now. I mean, I understand the influence, generally the influence it had on me when I was younger. What is older me? What's the takeaway of these books, right? So there were two of them. One of them was this, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. What's the subtitle? It's A Savage Journey into the Heart of the American Dream. It's by Hunter S. Thompson. I really wished I had gotten the cover with the Ralph Steadman art. I mean, I like, Johnny Depp and Terry Gilliam enough, but like, I love me some Ralph Steadman art. But yeah, there's one of the cool things about this book is that it does have some Ralph Steadman, black and white art in it. So there's that. There's a bit of solace there. So yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then the other book that I read when I was 15 that I would like to reconnect with is this one, A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing what old man brain thinks about it as opposed to young man brain. While I was there, I also picked up a copy of Jane Eyre. Don't hate me, I have never read a Bronte book. But every person that seems to be a fan of Bronte, or the Bronte sisters, they say that Jane Eyre is like the best one. So it's the one that like captures that kind of gothic, Victorian book. So I'm definitely going to read this. And, now I can tell people I've actually read Bronte, which, it feels good. It feels good to do so. The last two books that I picked up were recommendations from actual booktubers. One booktuber, her show is called Shades of Orange, and she's really awesome. She makes it a point to read a lot of books by people of color and that have LGBTQ representation and stuff like that. And I wish I was better about it, honestly. So I look at her recommendations a lot. And one of the other things that I really like about her channel and just her general philosophy is that she seems to really like things that are like genuinely like disturbing and shocking, and I like that a lot about how she picks books and how she recommends them. So she was doing a book review about It, Stephen King's It, and she was talking about some of the parts that made her feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I really kind of like resonated with what she was talking about. In fact, I left a comment in the comment section about like, I understand how like the language or how it's written could be better when it comes to like characters that are like really, really dark, like really racist people or rapey things are happening and stuff like that. And I asked her like, is there an author you would recommend that can do these things, these themes, these tropes, these scenes, and does it well with like the right voice? And she recommended this guy, Victor LaValle. So I checked out his bibliography and found the Ballad of Black Tom. This book is a retelling of H.P. Lovecraft's story, The Horror at Red Hook. And The Horror at Red Hook is like one of his particular stories that gets a lot of criticism about being the one that's the most like overtly racist of his stories, right? So this guy, Victor LaValle, does a retelling of that story with a black protagonist. So like I'm really looking forward to reading this. And thank you, Shades of Orange, for the recommendation. Awesome. The second recommendation is from another booktuber. Her channel is called Dakota Warren. She's from rural Australia, but she's quite worldly. She travels a lot and she writes. She's a poet. And one of the recommendations that she makes in several of her videos is this one, The Stranger by Albert Camus. Honestly, I don't know anything about this book, other than it's about a guy who's like a French citizen who is living in North Africa. An incident happens, he reacts, and because he's not from around there, he finds out why he should have reacted differently or something like that. It's supposed to be really, really deep and interesting and gut-punching, and it's the kind of stuff that I like. So I know Camus is very popular, and I'd like to see why, because I've never read one of their works. So here's to that. See what I mean? Like, I get excited about some of the stuff that I see on BookTube, and I want to get my hands on those books. Both of these stories are very short, too, so they're very, very doable in my TBR this year. So I'm excited about that as well. Okay, that's my tiny book haul. Let's end this here episode with the tinier or tiniest unboxing. So another big bit of excitement that happened in this last week, which totally like helped to nudge Disco Dracula out even more, is that the drawings that Larned Justin from the Larned Justin channel, he did the drawings for my latest zine comic, which is Pinocchio and Mr. Hyde #4. So that art just showed up, and I was really, really psyched. I took it over to my desk, and I, was very gentle and cut that bad boy open. Check this here out. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it's good looking stuff. I'm not going to show you everything, but I will show you like the cover that I finally, this is the working cover right now for Pinocchio and Mr. Hyde #4. Anyway, you'll be seeing more about this in future episodes, but right now I need to finish it out, do all the editing, and I'm going to add a little bit more, another story to this particular book. So it'll be hopefully out by like mid-March. Realistically, that sounds about right. So cool. Awesome. I really, really hope you enjoyed watching this here video. Hey guys, subscribe, hit that there bell, hit that like button, make a comment. All that stuff really just kind of helps me fly under the radar a little bit less. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I know I enjoyed making it. We will see you next time here at the Art of R. Ciao.